Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, for anybody who's waiting for the review of this thing, the Squier Bullet Mustang guitar, I am going to get round to that in the next day or so, I promise. It's just that I had this video that I'm kind of doing today kind of partially done already before I had a recent influx of guitars, and I wanted to get this finished and out of the way so we could move on. So I haven't forgotten, basically. What we're going to be looking at today is a little bit about basic guitar maintenance. I don't consider myself an expert on this. I'm not a guitar repairer or anything. I'm kind of like the guy who is happy to get his hands oily on a weekend tinkering with his car, but will still enlist a mechanic for the big jobs. You know, I can change the oil and the spark plugs, but anything beyond that I tend to need to go to a garage. So I'm sure we've all had that disappointing experience where you order a guitar online and you're looking forward to it turning up, and then when it does arrive you are a little bit let down because it might have an action that's too high, it might not play in tune along the whole length of the neck, or there's going to be fret buzz or something like that. And basically we're going to be looking at sorting out all of those kind of issues on a new guitar, so that you can order a guitar with confidence. The thing is, most guitars nowadays, even budget things like this, this is £79 worth of cheap Strat copy from Gear for Music. Most guitars nowadays are built on CNC machines to pretty high tolerances, so the likelihood of the bridge being kind of in the wrong place or anything like that is pretty low these days. So there is a good guitar lurking within pretty much any guitar nowadays. So what are the things which tend to kind of spoil that new guitar day experience? Well, usually it's a high action and fret buzz. Now these two things are interconnected, and we're going to look at the causes for both of them and how you can sort them out. One thing that can cause a high action, or which has been a cause of high action on many guitars in the past, is if you've got a badly cut nut. But even budget guitars these days, something like this, I mean less than 80 quid's worth of guitar, the nut on this, it's only a cheap plastic thing, but the nut slots are cut fine, so it's increasingly less of a problem these days for you know, creating a high action. Usually a high action is caused by the neck relief or the bridge. Now if the bridge is set too high, well that's a simple thing, isn't it? You just use the Allen keys that came with the guitar, or if it's a Tune-o-matic style bridge, you just screw it down a little bit to lower the bridge, and if that works, well, all fine and dandy basically. But if lowering the bridge like that causes the fret buzz, then there's a chance that you might have either uneven frets or you might need to adjust the neck relief. So let's have a look at the neck relief thing first of all, shall we? Okay, taking a look at figure 1, you can see that we have a concave or bowed neck, resulting in a high action. If you try bringing the action down by lowering the bridge, then what's going to happen is you're going to get fret buzz or notes choking off, or even notes missing on the frets either side of that valley that's in the middle of the fretboard. The solution here is to tighten the truss rod. In figure 2 we have the opposite problem. We have a convex or humped neck, meaning that the frets which are at the crest of that hill in the middle of the fretboard are going to be buzzing quite badly. Of course you can raise the bridge to try and counter this, to give the strings some clearance, but that will just lead to an uncomfortably high action probably on the frets either side of that hump in the middle of the neck. The correct solution here is to slacken the truss rod. Figure 3 shows a perfectly straight neck, which will once again lead to fret buzz. This is because if you fret a note at say the first fret, there isn't going to be enough clearance for the string to get past the second or maybe the third frets and play without buzzing. Again, you could raise the action at the bridge to try and counter this, but once again that's probably going to lead to an uncomfortably high feeling action. Once again, what you should do here is slacken the truss rod slightly. And figure 4 shows a correctly adjusted neck with a very slight concave profile. If you once again play a note at the first fret, then because the neck is dipping away slightly from the straight line created by the string, then the string will have clearance to vibrate without catching any of the other frets. And if you sight down the neck from the nut end and use the 6th string as a dead straight and true plumb line, you should see, as you can here, a very slight concave in the neck compared to that. This is the kind of neck relief you're looking for. So, you've adjusted the neck relief correctly. Let's have a look at one of the other possible causes of fret buzz and having to raise the action up higher than is comfortable to get rid of that fret buzz: uneven frets. Okay, if you've still got fret buzz and you're certain that you've got your neck relief adjusted correctly, then chances are you've got 1 or 2 uneven frets. If this is a brand new guitar, then it won't have any fret wear, so you're probably not going to need a full-on fret leveling job doing. It'll just, as I say, be 1 or 2 uneven frets, and that's pretty easy to deal with. You will need a couple of tools. You'll need one of these things, a fret rocker, and you'll need a fret crowning file, which, as you can see, is a concave file which maintains the domed shape of the fret as you file away at it, basically. You'll also need some various grades of sandpaper, starting with 800 grit and working through to 2500 grit. So before you do anything, you know, it goes without saying, you take the strings off the guitar to do this. Then you should mask up the fretboard to make sure that you're not going to be damaging any of the wood, and then follow these steps. Okay, how you use a fret rocker is that you need to be able to span 3 frets. In this case here, I'm spanning across the 1st, 2nd and 3rd frets, but there are a number of different size straight edges on this tool, so you can cover 3 frets at any part of the neck. What we're checking for here is to see whether or not the 2nd fret is too high, and as you can see, it is, because the fret rocker will rock back and forth like a seesaw onto the 3rd and 1st frets. This means that we need to take the 2nd fret down slightly with the crowning file. You should also check with the fret rocker across the whole width of the fret, because it's entirely possible that it might be too high on the bass side of the neck but fine on the treble side, or vice versa. Use a magic marker to identify those points on the fret which need the adjustment, and don't forget, file off a little bit at a time. Okay, you can always take more off, but you can't put it back on again, so just bear that in mind. After each few passes with the crowning file, check again with the fret rocker until you get something like this, where there's no movement, no rocking, no seesaw motion with the fret rocker. Once you've got the uneven frets nice and level, it's then time to sand them and finish them. Just go through the various grades of sandpaper, starting with 800 grit and going all the way up to 2500 grit, and you will end up with a beautifully smooth polished fret with a mirror-like sheen. Job done. Right, so your guitar should now feel pretty slick. You've got nice even frets and your neck is adjusted correctly. What about if it's just not playing in tune along the length of the strings though? What can we do about that? Well, this is when we have to think about adjusting the intonation. Here's how to do it. Okay then, this is what you need to do to set the intonation correctly on your guitar. Setting the intonation is basically a case of making sure that the guitar plays in tune along the whole length of the neck. Now, the first thing that you should do is fit some new strings. Okay, one of the giveaway signs that your strings are knackered and basically past it is that you can tune up fine with a tuner and everything sounds pretty good down this end of the neck, all nice and in tune, but then when you get up to this kind of area here, things start sounding a little bit wobbly and not quite so in tune. So fit some new strings. Then what you do is you play a 12th fret harmonic on each string. I'm using the top E string here as an example. You should make sure that this note is absolutely perfectly in tune. Then compare that note that you've just measured with the actual fretted note at the 12th fret. And if they're both the same, then the intonation on that string is fine. If, however, like in the example here, they are not the same, then you've got some work to do, and this is how you do it. It's quite simple really. All you've got to do is adjust the length of the string so that the fretted note at the 12th fret is the same note as the harmonic at the 12th fret. If the fretted note is sharp compared to the harmonic, you need to make the string a little bit longer, so you move the bridge saddle back. If the fretted note is flat compared with the harmonic, then you do the opposite and make the string a little bit shorter by moving the saddle forward. You'll need to retune the string after each one of these adjustments to make sure the harmonic is in tune each time you check it. And just remember the golden rule: fret, flat, forward. Okay, and that should leave you with a guitar that plays in tune along the whole length of the neck with a low action and little or no fret buzz. These are the techniques that have served me well for years, and as I say, usually this is all you need to do to sort out any slightly disappointing brand new guitar. If you're not comfortable doing something like this on your new Pride and Joy, then get one of these. As I say, it's 80 quid, and if you make an absolute dog's breakfast of it, it's not the end of the world. You know, you haven't ruined a good guitar, so to speak, although I'm convinced there is a good guitar in here lurking to get out, and we're going to find out all about that in the coming weeks as I kind of start upgrading it. Now then, as ever, there are probably going to be a few people watching this video who are new to the channel and who aren't entirely sure what Guitars for Good Causes is. Basically, it's a GoFundMe page that I've set up, and you can donate to that via the link below this video. What happens is I use the money that's donated to go out and buy guitars, which I then review on this channel, which helps me because I'm getting to grow my channel a little bit. And then once the guitars have been reviewed, they are then auctioned, with proceeds going to Zoe's Place, which is a charity in Middlesbrough which provides palliative, respite and end-of-life care to children under 5 with terminal illnesses. A fantastically worthy and deserving cause that I'm very proud to be supporting here. And with that, I'll wish you all a good day. Thank you to everyone who's contributed guitars to the campaign. Thank you to everybody who's contributed money to the campaign. I'll do another update video on how things are going with that in a week or two. But just, yeah, thanks guys, it's making a real difference. And with that, I'll see you all next time. Bye for now, folks.